Who needs coffee? I need coffee. Oh, beautiful hazelnut cream. Like my mug. Harrods. I got a lot of mugs from Harrods. In my previous video, I talked about Bath & Body Works candles, and I would probably won't really be using them again, but as you can see, mine is lit. The London Tea and Lemon. I mean, I have them laying around, might as well use them, so. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing super well and delightful. Today's video is just going to be a little video about my most recent and favorite books. So, for those who love reading and just like to watch a video, then keep on watching. So today's video is, well, I've already said that, haven't I? I have quite a handful of books. Whew. And the first one that I'm going to start with is a book by Sophie Kinsella, Wedding Night. So this one is a little quirky little book about a wedding night. And I'm not going to pretty much go into what I think about the book for those who haven't read it. I'm just going to read the back of the book because, well, if you don't have, you know, a bookstore nearby, then you can just read what I got to say on the back of the book. And if you like it, then there's always Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Indigo, Chapters, wherever. Bookstore. So before I read what's written on the back, I just want to mention that Sophie Kinsella, I have a lot of her books. A lot I have yet to read, and I love the way she writes. Like, for authors, I find this style of writing, like, when I go to buy a book, I'm just going to mention that for books, I have a process when it comes to before I buy the book itself. And a lot of people might think, you know, this girl's crazy, but whatever. It's just how I roll with book buying. So the first thing I do is look at the cover. If I like the cover, then it's a top contender in a way. But then I have to read the back of the book or wherever, like, there's the excerpt, or like the general plot, summary of the book. If I like that, if I like how it looks in the front, and I like what it's written on the back, I go and read the very first page, whether it's the prelude or it jumps right into the book or the novel directly. And if I like how the author writes the book, it's just a weird thing, but there's a lot of times where, okay, I like the cover, I like the back, but then I start actually reading how this author writes, and I'm not captured by the book. By the way of the style of writing, I guess. So if I generally like the style of writing and the back of the general book and the front cover, then I will go ahead and buy the book. I love buying books. I do not go to the library. I don't know why, but I just like having my own book, you know? Sophie Kinsella, I've got a lot of her books, and I love the way she writes. So, yeah. So if it's a Sophie Kinsella book, or Madeline Wickham, they're both the same author, I will buy her book. So, because I know the way she writes already, and she's got a lot of, like, chick flick romantic books. That's kind of what I like to buy, with a lot of drama, and sometimes with, like, a beautiful love story to it is kind of what I lean towards generally. But anyway, so the first book is Sophie Kinsella, Wedding Night. #1 New York Times best-selling author Sophie Kinsella returns with her trademark blend of sparkling wit and playful romance in this page-turning story of a wedding to remember and a honeymoon to forget. Lottie knows just that her boyfriend is going to propose, but then his big question involves a trip abroad, not a trip down the aisle. Completely crushed, Lottie reconnects with an old flame, and they decide to take drastic action. No dates, no moving in together, they'll just get married. Right now. ... Her sister Fliss thinks Lottie is making a terrible mistake and will do anything to stop her, but Lottie is determined to say I do, for better or for worse. So, very quirky and cute book. I loved it. The next book is Nicholas Sparks' A Walk to Remember. If you've seen my TMI tag, this book / movie, I've mentioned it before, one of my favorite books and movies of all time. When I watch A Walk to Remember, I had read the book before, so yeah, I loved both versions. I generally sometimes love either or, and think sometimes, you know, they ruined the book by making the movie out of it, but no, they did justice with A Walk to Remember. If those who have not read the book, I'm going to read the back for your lovely information. So, Landon Carter would never have dreamed of asking Jamie Sullivan out, but a twist of fate throws them together. In the months that follow, Landon breaks down Jamie's natural reserve and begins to get to know her and to fall in love. But then he discovers that Jamie has a reason for not letting people close, a secret that will break his heart. The next book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This book, I watched the movie first, actually, and then I read the book. And I was surprised with watching the book, oh my goodness gracious, by watching the movie first and then reading the book. The way this book is written is, I did not expect it, to be honest, and I was surprised. So The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a story about what it's like to travel that strange course through the uncharted territory of high school. The world of first dates, family dramas, and new friends of, well, sex, drugs, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Of those wild and poignant, I don't know how to pronounce that word, roller coaster days known as growing up. So yeah, Perks of Being a Wallflower. The next book is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Now, Jane Austen is also one of my favorite authors. As a classic novelist, she's amazing and I love her books. Pride and Prejudice is my second favorite book. Now, a lot of people might think I'm absolutely crazy for saying that Pride and Prejudice is a secondary, like, a second number 2, you know? But I have number 1, and that is Persuasion, for those who don't know of it. A lot of people either say they've heard of it or they haven't heard of it, but that would be my number 1 contender for Jane Austen's novels. Yeah. I've yet to read Sense and Sensibility. I did start it and then I just never came back to it. Something happened and I forgot about it, so I gotta restart the whole entire thing because I can't really remember what it's about. But Pride and Prejudice. For those who don't know, let's read the back, shall we? Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice is a classic tale of love and values that unfolds in the classic conscious England of the late 18th century. The 5 Bennet sisters, including strong-willed Elizabeth and young Lydia, have all been raised by their mother to have one purpose in life: finding a husband. When a wealthy bachelor takes up residence in a nearby mansion, the Bennets are abuzz. Among the man's sophisticated circle of friends, surely there will be no shortage of suitors for the Bennet sisters. But when Elizabeth meets up with the handsome, and it would seem snobbish, Mr. Darcy, the battle of the sexes is joined. Classic book. Classic. The next set is a trilogy of the complete, well, I do have the trilogy, but they are separate books. The complete The Summer I Turned Pretty series. So, I'm gonna read the back of the trilogy box. So there's 3 books. The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. Belly has always lived for the summertime because it means all her favorite things: swimming, the beach, and the Fisher boys, Conrad and Jeremiah. She has spent every summer of her life with them at Cousins Beach. All the while, Belly has loved Conrad from afar, until finally, one fateful summer, it seems that he might feel something for her too. But as it turns out, so does Jeremiah. As the summers go on, Belly must choose between the two brothers and face the inevitable. She will have to break one of their hearts. This trilogy, I think, is really cute. It is about young love, and as I mentioned, I love books about romance and chick flicks, and yeah. So, this is the author, Jenny Han. She wrote the book, what was it called? I think it's To All the Boys I Ever Loved or something like that. I can't remember. I have that book as well, so I like her style of writing, and hence I bought the trilogy back. So that is that. However, I'm currently reading If I Stay. I do have the sequel also, Where She Went, but I haven't read it yet. But I'm still, as you can see, very so close into the beginning. I have not gotten very far as I started it a couple nights ago. Generally I can read a book in a day, but I don't know why it's taking me so long to read this. I think it's just because I don't have time. Yeah, that's it. I don't have time. So this sequel, a lot of people might know If I Stay is already a movie with Chloe Grace Moretz, or however you pronounce her last name. She does a really good job, and I watched the movie before I read the books. So, one main reason is that I didn't know that it was a book that turned into a movie. I thought it was just a movie that came out. I absolutely loved the movie. A lot of people said that, you know, it was not the greatest, but I loved it. I found that the plot was really strong, and it was really consistent throughout. And I just love the character, the personality of the main character, Mia. She plays the cello. I love the cello. That's another reason why I love it. I love movies that are about strong musicianal characters. I have a weird variety of things that I like when it comes to books and movies. It's weird, but it's me, so. Anyway, If I Stay. A cold February morning, a snowy road, and suddenly all of Mia's choices are gone, except one. As long as she'll ever be, Mia must make the most difficult choice of all. So, yeah. That is pretty much the back of the book for that. It doesn't say much at all, but for those who want, you can, watch the trailer as well. You can pretty much kind of get the gist of what it's about by watching the trailer. And I shall read the back of the book for Where She Went. It's been 3 years since Mia walked out of Adam's life, and 3 years he's spent wondering why. When their paths cross again in New York City, Adam and Mia are brought back together for one life-changing night. Adam finally has the opportunity to ask Mia the questions that have been haunting him. But will a few hours in this magical city be enough to lay their past to rest for good, or can you really have a second chance at first love? So that's the book I'm currently reading. A book that is like an inspirational thing. I don't know how many of you are out there that have role model, icons, celebs, whether it's a person in your life or whether it's a celebrity. I have one. Obviously my mother is somebody who's really inspirational in my life, but as a celebrity, it is Audrey Hepburn. Absolutely love everything Audrey Hepburn. She's amazing. So I was on Amazon one day and I purchased this book, How to Be Lovely, The Audrey Hepburn Way of Life. So There's a quote, I think, on the back of the back of this book. How shall I sum up my life? I think I've been particularly lucky. Does that have something to do with faith also? I know my mother always used to say, good things aren't supposed to just fall in your lap. God is very generous, but he expects you to do your part first. So you have to make that effort. But at the end of a bad time or a huge effort, I've always had, how shall I say, the prize at the end. My whole life shows that. Audrey Hepburn. So this is a book pretty much about how Audrey Hepburn kind of would inspire you to live your life. Like, for example, this one, attitude is everything. So just like little things, and then it's summarized more up or less, and it's, what should I say? Tis more, it's explained, and it's like analyzed a little bit better, in a way that Audrey Hepburn would think. So like I said, this one said life without regret, wing it if you have to. I'm just flipping through. Beware the city life. Get plenty of vitamin C. Like just a lot of little things, and then it's just explained a little bit more in detail and in depth with this on like just the Audrey Hepburn way of life. So it's pretty self-explanatory for those who have Audrey Hepburn as a role model. I think you should get this because it's really nice to kind of go back and kind of recollect your thoughts if you're feeling down sometimes. Just kind of, it's an inspirational book, I guess. So, the Audrey Hepburn way of life. These are just a few of the books that I've recently read and adored, and yeah, so I thought I'd share them with my lovely viewers. So yeah, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Mind my reading voice, sometimes I can mess up with words and here and there, and I don't know. But if you don't like the way I read, well, I don't know what I have to say. I just don't, okay? But if you did like the way I read, then I like you. So anyways, besides that point, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you really liked it and like one of the books or recommend another book for me to read, I'd be more than happy to read your comments below. You can write your comments down below about how you thought, and yeah, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!